Mutation. It is the key to our evolution. It has enabled us to evolve from a single-celled organism into the dominant species on the planet. This process is slow and normally taking thousands and thousands of years. But every few hundred millennia, evolution leaps forward. Sometimes it doesn't.
Hey!
Get upset on the internet.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Retro Station 1989. My name is Commander Dan, Commander and Lone Inhabitant of the Retro Station, and this is License to Play, a review series about retro games based on licensed properties. Things like TV, movies, comic books, superheroes, breakfast cereal mascots, and sometimes fast food mascots. This week, we're kicking off Superhero Summer. That's right, after my battles with Freddy and Jason, I decided to grow out this wild hairdo, grow out these wild burns, grow some of these, and review my favorite game. Well, that's a bit of a lie. I'm gonna review a good game. No, heroes don't lie. We're gonna review a game for the Nintendo called Wolverine.
The character of Wolverine was created by Roy Thomas, John Romita Sr., and Len Wein, and was introduced in the now famous and highly valuable Incredible Hulk 180, where the Canadian was sent in by Department H to capture the Hulk and destroy the Wendigo. Wolverine was an instant hit. No, he didn't defeat the Hulk in that series, but his never-say-die attitude and his tougher-than-nails outlook on life made him popular among the kids reading comics. Wolverine was brought aboard the X-Men team officially in giant-sized X-Men #1 as part of the all-new X-Men, and in the John Byrne, Chris Claremont run on the X-Men, he gained new heights of popularity. The character, as John Byrne describes it, once he had his mask off, was based on Dr. Hook from the hockey flick Slapshot. Okay, I see it. Wolverine's self-titled miniseries by Frank Miller and Chris Claremont solidified Wolverine's badassedness in 1982. Now, this is the first comic I ever bought with my own money, also in 1982. Yeah, I was 7, and my dad let me spend $3 on comics. That was a lot of cash for a 7-year-old in 1982. I bought Superman vs. He-Man, a big-ass Mad magazine, and a paperback with a bunch of Spider-Man comics in it. This is for a flight from America over to Germany. But I saw Wolverine on the racks, and believe me, that was a little too intense for my 7-year-old self. The Wolverine miniseries features his adventures in Japan, where he falls in love with Mariko and faces off with the Silver Samurai, and the character just blew up after that. Wolverine in modern times is a beloved part of the X-Men team, in the comics, in the cartoons, and when the movies came out, Wolverine was a breakout hit of the movies.
Even me, bub! Well, especially me. I'm a comic book guy. I love comics. I illustrate superhero products for a role-playing game. I love Wolverine, baby! These claws are pretty sweet, too. But seriously, if you love Wolverine like I do, and I imagine many of you do if you're watching this video, how long did we have to wait for a good Wolverine game? I mean, the Canadian Claw Master has been denied a long time. And I think the problem is that Wolverine suffers from the same thing that Superman does. If you want a realistic Superman movie, then you're not going to get a Superman movie because Superman's not realistic. He's super good. Like, that's... Who the hell is that anymore? Wolverine, you can buy. A badass killer made even more badass by the government and decides to go on a rampage once they rob him of his mental state. I can understand that. That motivation I get. A guy with every power in the known universe, and he is just a good dude. He's the best dude, the best who's ever lived. I mean, Wolverine's the best there is at what he does, but Superman is just the best man who ever lived with superpowers. So how do you translate that into a video game? I get it. Developers, I'm not throwing you under the bus here. I understand the hellacious problem that you had trying to bring a guy like Wolverine to life. But the things I've seen, they bring up my adamantium rage! They make me want to whip out my berserker claws. They totally got me. Kind of miffed, really. But yeah, let's talk about Wolverine a little bit. In case you didn't know. And if you didn't know, bub, you better ask someone. So, ask me, I'll tell you. Watch this.
The X-Men were coming into their own in the comics, and the rumors of a major cartoon coming to the airwaves and the pilot, Pride of the X-Men in 1989, had everyone chomping at the bit to capitalize on the license. LJN was in the forefront, and so produced Uncanny X-Men for the NES in 1989. And the game was, well, not good. At all. The game was basically a Twitch action-adventure game with a palette-swapped garbage pixels nudging into things or shooting beams with sound effects that could be used to force hostage-takers out of hiding. Listen to this shit. Do you see? Dude. Nightcrawler barely teleports. Everyone is magnetic. And Wolverine has no claws, no healing factor, and plays like a chess piece with the word Wolverine written on it in crayon by someone who doesn't know what a Wolverine is or crayons, and ate the rest of the crayons. I mean, if we're being fair, my man Wolverine was abused. He was without a good game until 1992, when the arcade game showed us how badass all the X-Men could be, including Dazzler, for fuck's sake. Check this out. I mean, look. And then, right after that, it's like everyone tried to make a good X-Men or Wolverine game. We got X-Men on the Sega Genesis, a must-own, by the way, for any Genesis fans out there. We got Adamantium Rage. I mean, even Sculptured Software came to the fucking game to play with Adamantium Rage. It's a difficult but accurate representation, at least, of Wolverine. Then we got War of the Gems on Super Nintendo, featuring Wolverine, of course. Front and center. So the whole Marvel Universe, it's going to be Cap, it's going to be Iron Man, Spider-Man, and guess what? Hulk and Wolverine. Then we got Mutant Apocalypse, the X-Men game by Capcom. Oh my god, both of those were based on the Capcom fighting games. And the X-Men got to be in a Spider-Man game called Spider-Man and the X-Men in Arcade's Revenge. That game was a Sculptured Software game, which if you played one of their superhero games prior, or a Bits game featuring superheroes produced by LJN, let's just say it was a nice try, okay? It looked nice, and Wolverine is all right. The Gambit level's fun, but it's like, it just shows again that people just could not get shit right with my man Wolverine. And the whole time, until 1994, LJN and Acclaim had the X-Men license on lock. They had them by the nuts. And squeezed in between all those titles, we have the title we're going to talk about today.
And so that brings us to the game today, Wolverine. Now, I had been pissed when I played the X-Men game. That was the last game I got as a present. I got it for Christmas, and holy shit. The other gifts I got that Christmas, which were a VHS set of The Dawn of the Dead and The Night of the Living Dead, were awesome. But this Uncanny X-Men game, holy shit. I'd waited for years to get it, and not worth it. What they did to my man Wolvie wasn't right. And so, when I saw this game, Wolverine, and I had the money for it, I'd been mowing lawns, I decided that cover art, let's give it a chance. Let's give it a chance, man. So let's give it a chance, shall we? Let's give it a chance. Let's pop our claws and dig in to Wolverine.
Wolverine by LJN. Released in 1991 by LJN and designed by Craig Houston and Kevin Edwards, with Jeff Fallon killing it on composition. I mean, the music is blazing on this title. It's a single-player action game for the Nintendo Entertainment System. And it comes so close, man. It comes so damn close to being a great game out of the box. Let's take a look at the facts of the game real quick. Wolverine has been knocked out and captured by Sabretooth and placed on an island full of traps, along with his fellow captured X-Men, Havoc, Psylocke, and Jubilee. The fuck? He captured a lady in a fucking yellow raincoat and dish gloves who can make fireworks. For what? Literally, for fucking what, man? Anyway, Jubilee? Really? What the fuck, dude? I mean, is there going to be a rave?
You project pyrotechnic energy plasmoids, like little fireworks.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're fired.
What?
It's a pleasure to fire you.
You know,
Fireworks. Goodbye.
Anyway, apparently they are all important to Wolvie surviving this ordeal on Sabretooth Island. Even Jubilee for some fucking reason.
I can't believe you're firing me.
Actually, could you fire yourself? It would be the first thing you've ever done for the X-Men.
You look like the creepiest pervert's real doll. Special order. You look like Hello Kitty's best friend. Goodbye, Kitty. Goodbye, Kitty. Could you look back just for 1 second, please? Yeah, you can't hear a finger.
Okay, well, at any rate, Psylocke is found on the second level, and she grants you the ability to call on Havoc, which is important, because if you don't have Havoc, you can't take a breather and gain back your life. Yeah, it's not accurate to Wolverine's real powers, but hell, it beats this. The levels are pretty basic, based on land, air, fire, ninja, and pumpkins. You know, the basic elements of life. Wolverine has his claws, well, 2 of them, which are brought out by pressing select. He's invulnerable while claws out, but does lose energy gradually over time, kind of making the claws crap. But get your berserker gauge filled, and you can go ahead and use the claws like a berserker, which means you better be somewhere you ain't got to control your jumps, or you'll launch your poor asshole Wolverine into one of the NES's famous bottomless holes. So, make it through the levels with the help of your ex-buddies, defeat Magneto and Sabretooth, and boom, you win. I mean, you beat the game, but is it enough? Are you truly a winner? And more importantly,
Does Wolverine by LJN for the NES have a license to play? No. No! I'm revoking your license, Wolverine! And yours, LJN, from making superhero fucking games. Yeah, I know you're no longer in business, which is good. Because after this, and this, you've ruined superhero fucking games. You made people distrust your label. I reviewed Wolverine today because I knew X-Men was just a piece of shit. And Wolverine, I thought maybe I forgot something about it, or maybe I missed something. I don't have the manual for it. Not anymore. But I perused the manual. I did. You can see in the video that I did. And I even downloaded it. And I tried to play this fucking game, and guess what? You gotta get the treatment, Wolverine. The Jean Grey treatment. So Wolverine here gets no license to play. It is revoked, bub. Now we'll come back to the character again. I've got other games by Wolverine that I will be reviewing. But for now, license revoked. Oh! Oh! Stabbed him right in the gut. The old Jean Grey. Now, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. I mean, I put a lot of work into these things. Well, not a lot of work, but enough work. I mean, I grew an adamantium skeleton. I combed my hair. So, there you go. That's a like, right? And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Join the Space Pirates. And last but not least, share the video. Share it around. And if you didn't like it, keep it to your fucking self. How about that? Or go down in the comments and tell me what I could have changed. I'll be happy to talk to you about it. And last but not least, if you want to share titles that I may have behind me here that are licensed, and you want me to review them, or you have a particular nasty son of a bitch that needs its license revoked, let me know down below, and I'll happily look into it, and I'll help you out. If you want to know when I'm streaming, click the notifications button. We just recently streamed Resident Evil 8 all the way through. So take a look at that. And more than anything else, remember to always, always, always stay retro bugs. Peace.
Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. You're a salt adult. Get upset on the internet. You're a salt adult. Throwing out a hissy fit, your views ain't in the millions, and every up and comer is a threat to what you're dealing. And instead of getting better, you just bow to